Hey y'all, hey, and welcome to another session of Meditations with Marigny. So, this evening, I haven't done a couple of videos in a couple of days. Like, life has just been lifening, and it's just been happening so quickly that I hadn't even had a chance to pause to do a video. And so, I want to say welcome to Meditations with Marigny, and I hope that you guys are having an awesome day. If you like my videos, go ahead and click like now before we even start. Just jump in, click like, and share it with a friend. That helps the algorithms. Um, but for those of you that are with me on a regular and consistent basis, I want to talk about, recently I've been doing this thing about online dating. And I want to speak about online dating, but I want to talk about um, maintenance of relationships. And I've done some videos in reference to maintenance, what things that you have to do. And so we put in work in the beginning, like when we first meet someone, we really like them and we enjoy their company, and we will put in the time at that time. But just now, today I was looking at my lawn, and if you follow me, a few weeks ago, I did a whole video about lawn care, flowers, planting, fertilizing, like what all of that looks like. And just talking about those processes. And I was looking at my lawn because last year and the year before, I really didn't treat. And because I didn't treat, my lawn was very weedy, had a lot of weeds, and just couldn't get them under control. Once it gets hot, you can't really get weeds under control. You have to do that now, like in the fall and in the spring before they start sprouting up. And I treated it fairly heavily over the past 4 to 6 months. So this past spring, this summer, and this fall, like I've done heavy treatments, and I've done that intentionally because I just knew that that was the only way that I was going to get around this weed system for the following year. And what I'm getting to is that when I looked at my lawn today, when you look at it, it looks really good. Like you can see where the weed and feed is taking place and where it is actually beginning to kill off the weeds. And I want to talk about how we have to put down lawn care, so to speak. We have to put down something to offset the weeds in our relationships. If you do not do regular maintenance on your relationship, you have to check in with your partner. And especially for those that are a part of my channel, because we're already in our mature stages of life. Many of us have already had our children. We've already gone through those small years with our kids, elementary, middle school. Some of us might have children in middle and high school, but for the most part, many of my friends are already moving into the grandparent stages. And when you think about that, and you're talking about relationships, what parameters are you putting in to treat your relationship so that you can kill the weeds before they come up? I, in this dating process, have had the opportunity to really vet some great guys, and in the process of vetting them, I've had the opportunity to meet some that I can tell that what I would consider weed treatment maintenance on the relationship would be difficult. And it would be difficult because they are not the best communicators. If you cannot communicate with someone in the early stages of relationship, you're definitely not going to be able to communicate with them just because you get married. And I want you to think about that from a perspective of, I do believe that God is going to solidify some marriages. I believe he's going to do some things fairly quickly. But you have to vet those hard questions and hard issues early on. And those responses are going to be a direct connection as to whether or not those relationships are going to be able to survive when the weeds begin to come up. So with a lawn, you can't avoid weeds. What you have to do is you treat for them. There are some times that I go in and I pull the weeds up. So there might be, if it's just a small section of them, before the weeds begin to spread, I'll pull those weeds up. Now, what that will do is it will leave a space, or it might leave a hole in the yard where that little portion of grass is not growing right there. But it's okay, because grass is a vine and it will eventually fill in that space if you treat it properly. But if you don't treat it, then you can't help but to have a situation where you would be in a position where the weeds are going to overtake it. In this dating process, if you do not maintain your relationships, if you do not put in the work, you have to date the person after you've dated them. It's going to be very intentional that at least once a week, my husband and I are going to have our own date night. And if we have a date night that something happens and we have to, adjust that, then we make the adjustment that we pick another night that one of us is going to be available. I don't believe in allowing for relationships to go without extended time together. Many of us that are in this age bracket, the only reason that we even want to be with somebody is for companionship. So if you're not bringing companionship, most of us are not having any more children. The average is not interested in most people that have small children. So, if you meet somebody and they got a 4 or 5 year old, that is not going to likely work for me. Just simply because I'm not in that phase of life anymore. I have been a mom. As soon as my son walked across this stage in May 2026, believe that I am going to enjoy some areas of life that I have not been able to enjoy for the past 28 years. So I just want you guys to think about the fact that maintenance is important. Getting the ring and getting the proposal is probably easier than maintaining it. So when you think about the structures of life and what is before you, you must think about, what parameters am I going to put in place to maintain this? The other day I took my car to the dealership, and I'm telling you, hindsight is 2020, because if I was married to a guy that knew something about cars, I probably would never go to the dealership to get my car serviced. Because when I really started thinking about it, I was like, now they changed those two air filters. And I know, 60 something dollars, $70 to change the air filter. Now the air filter probably only cost $20. The air filter probably was only $30. Even if you use the parts from the store, from that dealer, it probably was little or half of what they charged me. But because I have a lack of knowledge in that area, I still needed to get the work done, and I went ahead and did it. But I'm using that to say that if I don't do maintenance on this car, what a lot of people don't understand is it can be a good car. It can be a good brand of car. But if you don't maintain that car, it is not going to last. You can't just drive it until you drive it in the ground. You got to maintain it. And it's the same way with our relationships. We must put parameters in place that we can maintain that relationship. It's interesting. I see a couple riding their bicycles right there. That's a good thing. You ride your bike in the evening, you get in some exercise, you go back home. That's a bonding time period for them. But I just wanted to say that part to you guys when I was looking at my lawn. And the point that I was getting to is, I'm treating the weeds now during the off season. You're going to see the manifestation of that treatment next year. Sometimes when we do the maintenance, if we go to therapy 2 times, we automatically think that we're supposed to see the results. And the truth is that the results may not show up for a little while. It may take a minute for you to see the fruit of your labor. So don't get discouraged in the process. Stay focused and make sure that you just do what you're supposed to do. Keep watering, keep fertilizing, keep pulling the weeds. And then in that next season, you will be able to actually see it. Sometimes when marriages have gone through challenges, if you've had infidelity or you've had distrust that has taken place, you have to rebuild that. And it's not about holding somebody responsible for punishment, but it's about, especially for a woman, it's about giving her a sense of comfort, giving her a safe place. And as I'm dating now, I'm looking to see whether or not, do I really feel safe with this person? Fairly quickly, I can tell whether or not that will be a guy that I'm going to be comfortable with, from a perspective of knowing that he's going to take care of my heart, and he's going to give me and provide for me a safe space to be vulnerable with him. And if I can't be that early on, if I can't get that initial feel for him, he's not the one. So ladies, don't rush into anything. Be anxious for nothing. But I do believe that God is moving swiftly with things. I don't think that he's moving fast, but he's moving swiftly with things. And so keep your eyes open, keep your prayers up. Make sure, I was going to say something else right there, but I know this is a Christian channel. Abstinence. If you keep something else closed, you can think, you can hear from God a whole lot faster. Understand me when I say it helps you to be able to weed out the weeds. And you may have some hurt and disappointment by the things that you have to walk away from and or lose, but you will have no regrets. And you'll understand, as the song say, better by and by, why you had to walk away from that. And you'll be okay with it, because I just believe that anything that I had to give up in this process, that means that it has to be greater. Greater has to be coming to me because of the sacrifices and the commitment that I made to God in reference to this area of my life. So you guys, just make sure that you get out there, pull the weeds, and see whether or not you need to fertilize and or treat during this season, so that when the next season comes, you can see the manifestation of your work. All right, y'all, have a good one. If you like my videos, click like, share them with a friend, and I would love for you to subscribe. Bye.